Good morning everyone, welcome to another video. This morning we are, well, if you watched the last video you know that we are in France, but for those that didn't, we flew into France on Saturday into Nice and then driven about an hour north into the Mercantour National Park, which is in the Maritime Alpes, and we're just here for a few days. So today we didn't really have many plans before we arrived here, but there is a mountain right near the door, so we decided to climb it, do like a walk run. So we're at about 340 metres where we're staying, and it's just over 1,000 metres where we're going to, so straight out the door and uphill for about 750 metres. The whole thing's about 12.5 kilometres. So we decided to start quite early because yesterday it was very hot, sort of over 30 degrees. Nicely covered in all of these trees, but we thought we'd start at 7 just so we can get the bulk of the climbing done before the heat of the day, because the mountain is south facing, so I think it'll get quite hot. And yeah, it's called Mont Lion, or Mont Lion, however you pronounce it. It is actually L-I-O-N. So hopefully there's a good view at the top, but at the minute we're just walking through all these trees, and so it's very shaded, but I'm still quite warm. So yeah, see where we get to. Hang on. Just made it to a little break in the tree line. Have a look at the view. Oh, and we've just made it to the first sign. So we're actually going to go left, but eventually we'll end up on the top of there, hopefully. And then that's our way back, and then back down the way we came. Let's get going. Look at the view. Starting to open up a bit now in gaps in the trees, so you can get a bit more of a view. And the sun is coming up pretty fast, so I think it's going to get warm quickly. So good when it opens up. So I did buy some maps of the area I've come to, but it's not really like in the UK. Well, certainly the maps I found weren't, where you get a really decent OS map and you can see exactly where you're going and map your route a bit. It was covering a really massive area and then the route wasn't really that clear. So I was a bit worried if we just brought a map with us, that we wouldn't really be able to see where we were going. So I've mapped it on Garmin. And that way you can download it onto your watch and then run with the route on your watch, and it beeps at you for the directions. So a bit more of a lazy way to do it, but when we're abroad and it's 30 degrees in the middle of the day. I'd rather just know where we were going and make sure we were safe. So that's how we've plotted the route, and that's how we're following it today, just on our watches. So it's a really good feature on the app. I've used it for loads of runs and hikes. I like to use an OS map, but yeah, just to know you're a bit safe and you know exactly where you're going, it's good to have it on there. I'm gonna head up there this way and then back round down there. That last bit was really steep, so just having to keep the fluids, keep taking in fluids. We just got one backpack, this one, because it's lighter to carry. Got about 2.5 litres in here, so just really regularly sipping on water because it's just past 8 AM now and it's really started to get warm and really sweaty, so keep our hydration up. Oh, made it! Wow, that's pretty mega. Show you the view.
There's our accommodation.
Oh, right down there?
Yeah.
Wow, so we've come from all the way down there, if you can see it. Little tiny group of houses. 1,080 metres.
Incredible, some of these villages.
It's not a small peak, this one, is it? That was tough. So it's just out and back from the top here, and the view going up was amazing, so I'll film that coming down. The other good thing about this is we haven't seen a soul. I didn't think we would. I'm not sure how popular it is for A, actually hiking, or B, in the summer, but we just haven't seen anyone, so it's lovely and quiet. These yellow markers have been really good. They're not really telling us where to go, but we've spotted them on lots of different rocks and trees as we've been going, so it sort of just makes us sure that we are on the right path or a path. So that's been quite reassuring, but I'm not sure how on earth we'd do it without the Garmin maps, because the path is so complicated. You know, there's loads of switchback routes and it's quite hidden in parts. But so far, just on the Garmin, we've been able to follow it really easily and not get lost. So that's been really good. I was a bit worried as well that all the mountains around here seem to be covered in trees, so I didn't know how good the path would be, or if it would be quite overgrown, how walkable it was, how many other people walk it really. But the path's been really good. It's not been, there was a bit overgrown at the start, but mostly it's been absolutely grand, rocky, quite clear, and it's quite nice being in the trees, because it just gives you that bit more shade when it's getting hot. So now in this shaded bit it's quite cool, even though the temperature's getting really warm. And it does open up in quite a lot of spots, so we can actually see the view, because I was a bit worried it would just be so densely covered in trees you wouldn't be able to see anything. Whereas you look at most of the mountains in the UK, in the Lake District, and you know, you've got a good view pretty much all the way up. So yeah, it's been a top hike so far. It's like a village right there, that little peak, and then in that dip before it goes up again, just like perched on the mountain. Looking back up to the top where we've been, and we've just hiked quite a bit of uphill again just to get round another big rock, and hopefully it's mostly down now, because that felt quite hard work. Oh, yes, please drink. Tap. So through this next bit and down, we've got about 2 miles to go, just following this green dotty line. So we have mostly hiked most of it, but just little sections where we can. It's nice to have the flexibility to just run, so we can just run a bit of the downs or some of the flats or some of the sections that aren't so technical. So it's nice to just have the flexibility to do both really. Come prepped to hike it all just from a time perspective, but it's quite good to have the flexibility to also run it as well. Get a bit more stamina in the legs. Back at this sign again. So we've done the loop now, and then we're just heading back to there. Looks a bit tricky actually. So we're just going to go back down about a mile the same way. So nice loop and then back down the same way. Looks a bit difficult. Just about half a mile left to go now, mostly downhill, and then back to the road, and we'll just walk back to where we're staying. So there's another good reason to do this walk, is we could do it straight from the door. We've not had to drive anywhere, so that's been really good. So hope you've enjoyed the mostly hike, some running up the mountain, and I will see you in the next video, whatever that is. Thanks for watching. That's where we've been.